Hey, this is Duncan MacPherson with Pareto Systems. Part 2, a supplement to the campaign called Welcome Back to the Future, where you start to rejuvenate long-term relationships after a disruption. And I want to do this standalone video to really focus on what it means to be a goals-based planner. Now, I'm not just talking about the fact that you're a good person and you care about your clients by showing interest in their aspirations and maybe even writing some things down and just being authentic about what financial independence means to your clients. That's all fine and good. And basically, it's a minimum requirement. What I'm suggesting here is that you engage with the clients a little bit differently and you professionalize and standardize the goal-setting exercise as a component of your professional and proprietary process. Okay, so I know you care about your clients. What this does is shows them specifically that you care about what they care about. Okay, the more you emphasize why financial independence matters to a client, the more value they place on how you get them there. You further decommoditize your value. You competitor-proof clients. You amplify your fee worthiness. And frankly, you make yourself indispensable because you've gone to this level of depth. If you're a student and fan of Maslow's hierarchy, you just look at those 5 progressions. All of them are made possible by financial security. Your value impacts your client's life on levels that sometimes we take for granted, especially when you consider belonging. You know, after a force majeure, clients want to know where their safe haven is, where they belong. This impacts that. When they become a little bit more enlightened, not just around how much money they have and what it is, but also what it does and what it makes of them, to focus more on esteem and self-actualization, right? The best version of themselves. This is meaningful. And again, especially after a disruption, people reassess. Their goals evolve. What matters can change. And they generally tend, I do at least, and I'm sure you do too, take things less for granted. And you savor sometimes the smaller things that are really, really meaningful, but sometimes easy to overlook. So here's how it works. In the strategy and tactical meeting, on the agenda, you just simply add a bullet and just call it a goals-based approach, a deeper dive, or something like that. And you just ease in. This is toward the latter part of the conversation. After they've updated you and you've updated them and you've got yourselves aligned and in sync, meeting's starting to wind down, it's relaxed. And you just simply ask the client, have there been any silver linings that have come out of this bizarre disruption for you? And just leave it there. Just see how they respond. And after they've told you, you can simply ask them, have your goals and what's important to you changed or evolved at all? I'm just curious because I'm having these conversations with my clients, with my team members, and it really fascinates me. Watch them engage. It's not unlike a flower opening up in the sun. It's quite profound. And then you have the bridging question, where you just simply say, if you don't mind me asking, what does nirvana look like for you in the next 5, 10, 20 years? If things just play out beautifully, what does that look like? And has that changed? and let them engage and respond. Now, you can read the degree that they're interacting. You can either plant a seed for the future, or you can just simply say and put them on the spot and say, hey, I've gone deeper into what it means to be a goals-based planner. And I've really applied this to myself, and I'm having very interesting conversations with clients. And I'm just curious, do you see the merit in formally getting some of these things out of your head in terms of your beacon and your why for the future? Because if you do, I would love to facilitate that conversation. This is where you start to pivot a little bit to becoming that sort of life coach. It's one of the value-added services on that 7th pillar. Now, again, you're led by the client. If they say, well, maybe another time, then great, you planted a seed. If they say, yeah, just say, hey, we'll just kickstart the conversation. And then just draw W5 on the agenda, W5. And just simply say, this is the approach I've adopted. Okay, so you've imprinted that it's a process. It's a real thing. It's not just an intention. And you can just simply say, there's 5 questions I like to ask, and they all start with the letter W. Here's the first question. What? What are you really grateful for? Start there. Now, that's counterintuitive because that has nothing to do with the future. It has everything to do with the past and the present. But that's the bridge. And again, watch them. Talk about the things that really matter to them. You might have heard me say before, appreciation for what we have is the fuel for ambition and aspirations for what we want, because it balances ambition with contentment. We're pretty lucky. Let's not take that for granted, but just start the conversation that way. What are you really grateful for? Second question, where do you see yourself? Like, if it all falls out of the sky into your lap beautifully, what does that look like? Okay, and just let them tell you. And just write them down. And you can give them a pen and paper as well and have them write some things down. It becomes something really meaningful when it goes from vapor to paper, right? So now we've got this list of 5, 10, 20 things, whatever the case may be. It's great. And then frame it in form. Start to give them a placeholder and really start to imprint how professionalized this is. Talk about family. Now, these become triggers for them to open up further, to activate thinking that's maybe in the back of their mind. Family, investment, legacy, health and wellness, right? Go into family. Then occupation, right? Retirement, liquidity event, work optional lifestyle, whatever the case may be. Then go into recreation, write the bucket list. And then write the word why beside those 3. That's why financial independence matters. And then go to money, inform, money. Maybe you already know their number, the number that they've got in their heads. That is the summit, right? Where they plant their flag. That's my goal. And just connect the money as the how to their why. It's powerful. Then go to when. So you got, what are you grateful for? Where do you see yourself? When do you hope to see this become a reality? Give it some timelines. Write some numbers beside that wish list. You might have a conversation about the dynamic between cause and effect. Being at peace with when it happens, but just knowing that good activity will make it quite probable that it will happen. Interesting. Then the 4th question. Why? Why is all of this so important to you? Now, this activates another level of chemistry in your relationship with your clients because they really start to open up. And then the last question is who? Who do you need to become to make all this a reality? Who do you need to lean on? Who do you hope to help? Who do you need to disassociate from? Whatever the case may be, just have the conversation around who. And this is ultimately from your own self-interest, where you enhance your position as the personal CFO, right? The complete family office, because you engage other service providers. But ultimately, as Jim Rohn said, who we become is far more powerful than what we get or how much we're worth or what we earn. We set goals for what it makes of us, not just what it gets us, right? It's the grit, the overcoming friction and adversity, the personal and professional development that helps us earn the right to make all these goals a reality. After the meeting, thank them. Tell them you'll be emailing them a summary of this, unless, of course, they've taken great notes, which many do. Put this in their personal financial organizer, right? Under goals, right? Their life in a book. And make sure you refresh your memory prior to any phone calls or conversations or meetings in the future. If you want to elevate your relevance and fee worthiness and adopt these qualitative best practices to become a goals-based professional, talk to us. We've cracked the code. We've deployed this with some of the best people in your sector, in your industry, in this business. And we love not only showing people how to deploy the process, but also hearing about the results. Okay, so thanks for watching. This is Duncan MacPherson. Deploy the campaign. Welcome back to the future. Point to where the relationship is going and connect their why with your how. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.